It's really sad when it comes to this. But we got this guy, my enemy, Steve Carlson. He's making comments again. Um, and I kind of like him because it gives me a chance to explain more about what our press is doing. And, you know, the malicious comments he keeps to him private, like, email and stuff like that. Here he just comes off as some disgruntled guy who doesn't like people who are having things go their way, which is kind of funny because, things are going our way. Corona Samizdat's way, Jeff Bursey's way. Jeff Bursey's not famous, and he's not rich from writing. But Stephen Moore wrote me asking to be notified when Jeff Bursey's book of criticism came out. Now that I call that real success. That has got to make a guy like that feel good. I mean, imagine that would be like Thomas Pynchon saying, "Hey, Rick, when's your next book coming out?" Well, that hasn't happened yet. Thomas Pynchon probably doesn't know who I am, but Jeff does, and Stephen Moore does, and that is great. We also got W.D. Clark, another person that is not widely known, but the whole point of our enterprise is to get people like that, and also beginning writers, published. Give them a chance to publish. And then, Carlson goes on to talk about how we all support each other. I mean, like that's a bad thing. I reminded him of the Fiction Collective, which was a very successful venture that was quite similar. People who had great talent, like Curtis White, started their own press. They said, fuck New York. And now Carlson, of course, is one of those people who would say fuck New York and all of that. So it's all very hypocritical. But you know what? I think the title here is Pay No Attention to the Man Who Needs No Curtain, because it's not really there. And that's the sad thing, is that I feel the need to answer. Because occasionally people see things like that and they wonder, what the fuck's wrong with that guy? If I see him again, I'll tell you what's wrong, and I'll tell you the whole story. It's very, very, very personal and ugly and real. And but if you had a sick person attacking you often, I would advise you to ignore the person, as I've been advised to, and generally do. I thought it was pretty funny. When I saw him last, there was this book that he thought was terrific and I should read, but he behaved so bizarrely while I was reading it that I finally just threw it in his pond. And so I said, you want a great book? You don't like our books or whatever? He doesn't even know our books. He doesn't know anything about what I've written, what Nick Voro's written, what Bori Proper's written, what Zach Tanner's written. He has no idea what Chandler Broussard has written. But, he's criticizing everybody because he wants to try to hurt me. And so I said, just you want a book that you think is great? Go fish for it in your pond. And so he came back and said, Billy Verité is in one of my books. Billy Verité is in my pond. And then he deleted everything because he realized that was a really, really sad comeback. But anyway, anybody who wants to know the whole story, it would be like 10 minutes of weird and wild fiction, and it's dark, and it's ugly, but it has the virtue of being true, being accurate. And I wouldn't really mind telling the story. I would prefer that he just stop. But, he's gaining nothing. And, I don't know, getting something out of his system that he put there himself. And, if you want to, if you would trust me more if I told you some bad things about myself, I'll give you if you really want to know something that I've done wrong, maybe I'll ask my wife permission to or I'll just read my own goddamn memoir, Arjun and the Good Snake. Carlson himself actually read that during a brief moment when he didn't hate, and he said, in this book, Harsh takes off the gloves and gives himself a good beating. So why doesn't he just tell people to read that? You want to know what Rick Harsh is like? Read Arjun and the Good Snake. He tells you everything in there. Well, I do. And I'm still here, and I'm still doing what I think is right. And I learned a lot about what wasn't right before writing that book and by writing that book. So I'm okay. As I said back in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, I'm okay. Are you? Yeah. Pay no attention to the man who needs no curtain.